okay, and it's trying to warm up that tendon. We're actually moving that tendon, but we're not using it, okay, so I'm just moving that tendon, trying to get it warmed up. Now that's what I do to start with, because remember, these tendons are sore, they're a bit stiff, so actually loosening them up and getting the tendon sliding through the sheath is a really good start, okay, so that's what I would start working on. Of course, I'm working on external rotation for my rotator cuff tear. I can't go above head and do it up there yet because of my bicep problem, so we have to work on the bicep tendon problem first, then I can work on my other rotator cuff stuff. So it's a bit complicated, but here we go. So what I get people doing is what I call a front sprinter. So imagine Usain Bolt sprinting along, there's a front sprinter. Now for this sort of thing you can have it up high or down low. I would start up high first because the load is less, and I'll show you inside when you have it down low, the load's a bit harder. But what you do, or what you don't want to do, is lift straight up like a front raise. That's going to kill it. So what you've got to try and do is shorten your lever. Okay, so the leverage is only here. Instead of being there, shorten the lever to there, and then do it eccentrically, meaning you're going to lift it up, help it up, and then you're going to load down. Now the point there, you may feel it, so you've got to go really slowly and carefully, okay? And then bring it back up again, reset. Now make sure your shoulder's back when you do it. Don't have your shoulder forward, because it's going to load you up. Have it back, and then slowly down, carefully at the bottom where the load is, where that really feel that tendon, and away you go again. Now like I said, having that right back at that point of my shoulder height, or just about my shoulder height, is a light load. It's not too hard. Once you've warmed it up, then you can drop it down. I wouldn't start it straight away down, but always eccentric for this phase. Don't try and do concentric. There's no point. It's just too much load. It'll hurt. You're better to start off eccentric, get a base amount of strength built up over a few weeks, then you can go obviously concentric and lift it up. And at that point you might be able to start doing, you know, little push-ups, that sort of thing. You'll probably find all the pulling work is not too bad. I'll show you how much easier it is to do pulling work than it is to lifting forward work where you're directly using that tendon by itself. So that's your front sprinter with a band, eccentric. Now while you've got it, what you want to do is work on your side sprinter as well, which is basically that lateral one here and coming up. Now I would do this eccentrically because remember you've got a tendinopathy in there, it's weak, so lifting it up, making sure when you get to that point there, that forearm is vertical. And then when you come down, you pivot at this point here, keeping that shoulder blade back. So my load is in my rotator cuff now. Okay, it's not so much in the front of the tendon. So lifting up and then slowly controlling that back. Again, I've got a short lever here. Now this is less load in the front than I did with the front sprinter. The load is at the back, but you need both parts. You need the back of it working to help out the front. So I like doing this one as a little superset between the front sprinter because it doesn't blow it out too much. Okay, so those are my first two little ones that you need to work on, and it helps warm up that tendon. We're trying to glide that tendon through the sheath. We're trying to get a little bit of eccentric load through it and start warming it up. Okay, now be careful with this stuff. If you start warming up a tendon, it starts feeling great, and then you load it up too much and then have a problem at night. So make sure you keep everything low level. No matter how good you start feeling, keep it low level until the next day and see how you recover. Okay, so there are your first two. Now let's show you inside what I mean by the other ones. If you have the tendon down low on a hook, okay, this is where you can start advancing it. So at this point here, same drill for the front sprinter, okay, I would have this short lever and then pulling up, helping it up, and then trying to lower it down. And you'll notice there's a slight increase in load, especially there. I can just feel it, that one there. And you've got to be careful. Don't let the pain get too much. If you start getting too painful, you know, past a 3 or 4 out of 10, that's going to create some hypersensitivity and it's going to get too sore. And you won't know whether it's sore from you loading it up too much and you've inflamed it, or just being hypersensitive. Regardless, you're not going to do much the next day. So that sort of movement. And remember, this stuff has to be sort of daily, so it needs to be that low level load that you can handle it daily. So there's your front sprinter, like that, with a bottom load, which is hard. And now, of course, that's a red band. You can go heavier to a green when you graduate and get harder with that. So those are my first two.